In this episode of Beam Forward, we speak with Gaynor Reid of Accor. Gaynor shares with us what she has learned through this difficult period and how to overcome the stereotyped notion of vulnerability in the corporate world.
Well, I think a great place to start is that a lot of people think of vulnerability as a weakness. So if you look it up in the dictionary, it's going to say someone who's weak or needs help or is not strong. Personally, I like to think of vulnerability on the other side. I'm in communications, so I always look for different words to describe things. And for me, it's about being open, being authentic, and being yourself. And I think what I've noticed more and more through this crisis that we're all going through is that vulnerability is a strength. It's something that we should show as leaders. And it makes us human in a way.
But often and not when women have to show strength, usually it comes with certain unpleasant terms and labels.
Yeah.
Has that world passed since COVID, or we are just a little bit kinder because we're more human-centric now?
Look, I don't know if that world has passed, because I think sadly in the corporate world we've always been told that there are limited positions for women at the top, right? Which means we have to fight for them, and whether that be amongst ourselves a little bit more than normal. But as I said, I think this whole crisis has shown us, one, that we're all vulnerable, right? This crisis doesn't care if you're male or female or rich or poor or white or black or whatever, right? So I think one of the great things that might come out of this is that we'll be allowed to be more vulnerable. And to me, that doesn't mean being weak. It means being human and being authentic. And we're looking for leaders that we can trust. We're looking for people who actually say it's okay to fail. It's okay to not get everything right all the time. But it's also okay to say, actually, I need help. I think we've really all struggled through this. I know I have. And I had a sort of light bulb moment with my team fairly early on in this crisis. And I think one of the things that we're all missing is seeing the people we love. So my family are in a different country. I've got my daughter and my husband here, but my parents are in a different country. My sister's in a different country. And all the people I love, the friends back home. And I like to start our meetings with instead of just going straight into work, just saying, how are you feeling? How's your week been? What's happening with you? And so we all were going to say something. On this particular call, the question was, what's a great thing and what's a really bad thing that's happened to you this week? And my father's not well.
Oh,
and
sorry to hear that.
Always, thank you. But at the start of the conversation, I also like to say, let's have the video on for the start of the conversation, and just so we can see each other's faces. And I was on video and I said something great, and then I said, and what's really not good is that my father's not well, and I just started to feel myself crying. Actually, I was ready, so I turned my video off and took a breath, and I thought, stop it, don't be so weak. Come on, you've got to be strong for the rest of the team. But I think the team had noticed by this stage, and I got myself together, stood up and took a few breaths, and went back into the call and managed the rest of it. And I got the most beautiful book from my team, who just said, thank you for showing me your human side.
Wow.
We've got your back. You've always had ours. They blew me away. Every single member of my team in different countries all around Asia Pacific had all put together a message for me. And that's when it dawned on me that vulnerability is a strength. It is okay to say, I'm struggling right now. I'm not doing well. And I think we've all felt that way through this crisis.
Yeah, and I think it's so big on you to even share the story and to show that, obviously we've got absolutely no control of the situation at the moment. As an expert in communications, how would you advise other women to express vulnerability as a strength?
I think it's about just being honest. We're all human. And we all have good and bad days. And we have to, as women, we have to stop apologizing. Women always say, oh, I'm sorry this and I'm sorry that. Stop yourself and think, how can I reframe that? How can I...
Why are women doing that?
I'm not sure, actually. It's a good question, Elle. Maybe it's a cultural thing that, from back in the day, we're always taught to make other people happy and to look after others first. I'm sorry I did this, or I'm sorry I looked this way, or I'm sorry I didn't, da-da-da. No, do you know what? I'm I'm late because I was looking after my children. There's different ways to frame your language. So saying sorry all the time, I think we should try and catch ourselves on that. And I think also, I hate those generalizations that say men are like this and women are like that. I don't believe that at all. We all have the same vulnerabilities and the same side. But I think a lot of times society has told men, you have to be strong. You know, you have to be the protector, you have to be the provider, and women have to be that sort of soft place for people to feel okay. It's just all being honest about it, I think. You know, be your true self and look out for others. And I really do think that this crisis will show us all to look out for others more. I'm hoping that, you know, we're all looking for something good to come out of this. I'm hoping that will be something that does.
How can women support each other so that the conversation about vulnerability and strength can be as normal as clouds in the sky?
Good question. For me, I think maybe the world is opening up for women more in anyway at the moment. So it's realizing you don't have to put other women down to raise yourself up. We should all be supporting each other. And you know, one of the best things about my boss is that he's always said, and I think how you build a team around you and how you develop trust is that you say, it's okay to fail. I have your back. And I think once you know as a person that you're supported by your leader and you know that it's okay to fail, it's okay to give ideas. And there's one thing about vulnerability, it's saying, well, I don't get it right all the time. So that allows other people to say, well, let me give you my opinion. Because you can be right or you can be wrong. But we all, you know, not every idea is perfect, but we all can take other ideas. And the more different ideas we have, whether that's from women or men or people of different races, religions, cultures, whatever, we're richer by that.
Yeah, and I agree, and I love being in our kind of industry because we are about people.
Absolutely.
Right, and
Absolutely.
and I think to be able to show vulnerability is also to be of service to another,
Yes.
and to be sensitive to another's feeling.
Yeah, sensitivity is a perfect word to use. You know, like I like to always check in on my team, and maybe that's more something that women can offer in the business world. And I think again in this time, that's a great thing to have. That, you know, maybe men don't talk about their feelings as much as women do, and so, you know, a man might start a call with his team, and he might not necessarily say, "How are you feeling today?"
Yeah.
But I think we all need that at the moment. You know, we're not necessarily with our family and friends that we might see all the time. So I think that's like, you know, getting your little cuddle here. You want that virtual cuddle from your team, that hug to say, "Are you okay?" And women, I think, naturally lean towards that a little bit more.
Fantastic. What is one advice that I mean, obviously we've all had or still have mentors. What is one advice that a mentor of yours has given you that empower you to be a businesswoman, a business leader that you are today?
That actually, so my boss actually said to me, I'm always learning. You know, you always think of your leaders and go, well, they know everything and I would never know as much as them. And he said to me, I'm always learning, and just ask the questions. There's no such thing as a stupid question, and trust that the people around you care about you. You know, this is where I think vulnerability has a really important role to play, because vulnerability, you only show your vulnerable side to people you trust. You know, so if you know that the people around you have your back, you can be vulnerable. And I think, you know, he showed me that. He was like, there's no such thing as a stupid question, but we're all learning. So just remember that.
I absolutely love that advice. Trust, and then you can be vulnerable. Yeah.